You could say, I know our next guest pretty well. She signs my paychecks is what she does. She's the powerhouse behind continued growth at the other company I work for, iHeartMedia. Since her time at iHeartMedia, she's served in several roles, including Senior Vice President of Sales in New Orleans, Director of Sales in Memphis and Tallahassee, General Sales Manager in Jacksonville, and then she came back to be Market President here in Jacksonville. So, how did she keep herself and such a successful company relevant? Instead of hearing it from me, we brought her here so she could tell us. This is Nikky Sparrow to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. You're like the best guest we ever had, and this is like the best outfit anyone's worn, the best shoes.
Keep painting it on. Keep painting it on.
Wow.
A raise must be around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, I got
Review
it.
time.
I already renewed your contract. You're fine.
Okay. Well, in that case, the strippers we had were really good that day. So
You mean the strippers here, right?
Yes. We had strippers on this show. That's what I meant.
Okay.
But other than that, you're an awesome guest. Other than that, you're an awesome guest.
Thank you.
All right. So let's talk about how you got into radio. I mean, you a different path than I took. I am the talent side of it,
Absolutely.
and you are actually the person who brings in the money and goes to clients, and that's how you started, right?
Absolutely. I started out as a sales rep almost 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I know. I was 12.
Yes. She was the youngest salesperson in the history of the company.
Wow. So obviously, starting out at a young age, 20-something years ago.
I was in my 20s. Yes, I was in my 20s.
And compared to where you are today, climbing the ladder, as they say, what would you contribute to you keeping it, staying grounded? Because as we know, the media business, whether it's the radio side or the television side, it can be so challenging at times. What do you contribute to staying grounded and staying focused to continue to climb this ladder?
No does not mean no. No means no to, and you need to find out that objection. So that's the hardest thing, and we tell sales reps, your first year is finding out what are they saying no to. Because a lot of people can't do sales because as soon as they say no, they'll be like, okay, well, you can't be successful doing it. So you need to find out, like, are they saying no to right now? Are they saying no to that you're asking for too much money? Are they saying no to your station? What are they saying no to? And you have to find an art form to ask that question.
No is just one step closer to yes, don't you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So great saying.
One step closer to yes. So how many stations are you over right now? And do you have the favorite here in Jacksonville?
I love them all.
I mean,
I absolutely love them all.
Just like your
having children. Which one are you? Maybe sometimes the one that's building the most.
That was such an answer.
But
well, Nikky, you've been in situations, we talked about the different places you've lived in Memphis and New Orleans. So you've been in situations where you've had to relocate and then you go somewhere else and all of a sudden you're a manager of people that you don't know them.
Never seen them before.
Right. So what are some tips or do's and don'ts of someone who faces that situation? And a lot of people do because people relocate all the time and all of a sudden you're the boss.
The most important thing is be comfortable. Be comfortable in yourself, be comfortable in your skin, and you have to trust they picked you for a reason. And so don't second guess yourself. And then secondly, when you get somewhere, don't just go in and be like, okay, I'm kicking down the doors, kicking over chairs, and this is what we're going to do. You need to get in there and you need to assess what's going on because some things they've been doing right. And then some things not so much because then they wouldn't be bringing you in. So you need to find that out quickly, but you need to go in with strength and authority and like, this is what this is who I am. Give them a quick elevator speech. I've learned that long time ago, and especially being a female and then an African-American female, I give my elevator speech to let them know I'm more than qualified to do this. Somebody didn't just give me this job. And so I give my elevator speech and I'm like, look, we're going to be successful. We're all in this together. We're all family. Tony, you've experienced this. Look, we're all in this together. I'm very purposeful about making sure that everybody feel included. And we're a team, and we're going to get it done. And we celebrate together. And when it's not good, we're going to talk about it, but we're going to all figure it out. But the biggest thing, what I've seen have been people, biggest flaws, they go in and they want to like make their mark and just kind of knock everything over. But that comes with being comfortable in your skin. If somebody else did something successful, just let it be. You don't have to change everything.
I had a chance to catch your interview yesterday morning on my way to church. You and Shawnee were on Community Viewpoint. And you said something that, you said a lot that really stuck with me, but one thing in particular you said, you have earned your seat at the table.
Absolutely.
That spoke volumes to me because you have to know your worth and you have to you have to earn that seat, but you have to know when you have earned it and that you don't owe anybody an apology for the work that you've done to earn that seat. Where does that come from? Does the way you feel come from some issues that may have happened in the past?
Yes, life experiences. I was raised by my grandmother who did not play. Like my grandmother was the real Madea.
Okay,
and so
wow.
it was like, you know, you're not better than anybody else, but nobody's better than you.
There you
And
go.
so, you know, but once you've earned it, you've earned it. And then I had one of my mentors to tell me, he said, what do you think when you hear entitlement? And most people go to a negative, like, oh, they feel entitled. And he said, no. He said, Nikki, that's basically, you've done everything that you were supposed to do. You've passed every grade, you've taken every position, we've asked you to go to all these different markets, you did it. You've earned the right. You're entitled to be here. And sometimes because of the way you look or because you're female, people are not just gonna open the door and say, hey, come sit down. So sometimes you have to grab your chair and drag it and be like, I earned this. And so, yes, and I'm in my 40s now, so I'm very comfortable with me. And so if you're not comfortable with me, I'm sorry.
There you go. There you have it.
I understand.
So what about the pressures? How do you deal with the pressures though? Because you have content that reaches billions of people.
Absolutely.
How do you deal with the pressures of that? Being at the top, you're one of 2 African-American women who are listening to you on a daily basis. How do you deal with pressures of reaching that many people on a daily basis?
I'll tell you, like the older I get, and it just comes from experience. And one of the things, like I said before, I do a lot of mentoring, and so I try to fast track a lot of my mentees so they don't have to go through a lot of this. Because even now, and it's 2017, I go into a lot of meetings, and I'm the only female.
Yeah.
Wow.
I go into a lot of meetings, and I might be the only African American. And so it came to a point where I had to say, look, I've earned my seat here, and I know what I know, and no one can take that from me. And again, and I was sharing with somebody else, like sometimes people are uncomfortable, not because, like, for instance, men. I'm in a male-dominated industry.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
When I come around, sometimes they get uncomfortable, not because it's Nikki, it's because they feel like they have to change their language, they have to change some of the things that they say, that, and they're very respectful of me, but you can tell they're like, oh, no, I didn't mean it that way. And so it's not necessarily me, but I'm comfortable, and so it helps them to put their guard down. And I love being a woman. I have no desire to be a man whatsoever, so I'm not I'm one of the boys. I'm not. I'm one of the market presidents that run this company, but I'm not one of the boys.
So you really worked hard when when your children were young. You were a single mom, and if you could give one tip, just one piece of advice for those single moms out there who are working so hard and you don't know if you could see the light at the end of the tunnel. You struggle every day. What would that piece of advice be?
I never gave the company a reason to not promote me. Again, I've been with the company over 20 years. I've never been late for work. Even when my daughters were in school.
You were never late for work ever?
Never late for work. And my daughter...
Me neither.
Especially my oldest daughter, she would tell you that I was a crazy person because she had to get in the car sometimes with clothes in hand. She did have on undergarment, but I just was never late for work. And so it was just like, when finishing on a task, I've never missed any deadlines. And I know I needed my job for one. And being a single mom, I wanted to be my children's role model. I didn't want them to look outside the house. And so, and even when, being a sales manager, I would say, hey, what can I do? Is there anything I can help? And so I volunteered to do a lot of helping. I volunteered to do a lot of coaching and everything else. And so I've always worked like I wanted a promotion. And then that's how I get a lot of job offers. Not that I'm going in like, hey, I need a raise. This kid got to go off to school. I work like
they say, work for the job you want, not the job you have.
Absolutely. So.
All right, well, we got to say goodbye. I mean, I'll see you tomorrow, I'm sure, probably, or later in the week. Oh, wait. There is a bunch of people wanted me to ask you, can we all have a raise? This was that word. They emailed me.
Oh, she is trying it today.
So I don't, was I supposed to?
What were their names? What were their names?
I think we have to wrap now. I'm going to save her on that one. We have to wrap quick.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it. All right, coming up next, it's being called one of the worst outbreaks in decades. We talk about how this case of measles is spreading with Dr. Ali Kazarian when we come back.
Teach.
To share